Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. This is my Chris Eubank Jr. First Conor Benn full card review for obviously the Boston show last night at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where we saw Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn's sons do at it, which was an all-out brawl, wasn't it? As Chris Eubank Jr. beats Conor Benn by unanimous decision. A lot of subjective scoring from a lot of people. A lot of people had Conor Benn winning on the card. A lot of people had Eubank winning on the card. A lot of people had a draw. It was one of them fights, wasn't it, where it went either way. Look, I've had my opinions on this fight due to the weight concerns and etc. with everything that's happened, saying it shouldn't be happening. It was a money fight, and it was, let's be real. Both of them, well, you have to say both of them have won, yes, be real. Conor Benn getting paid, what, $3.5 million to set his family up as well. Which will set his family up well. But even though he's getting paid $3.5 million for failing 2 touchdowns, but yeah, okay. Unfortunately, I'm still going to hold a grudge against Conor Benn because he is not really a fishy kid himself. I think this was a win for Boston, in my opinion, in terms of the winner. Was Eubank? No, I don't think Eubank won it clearly, though. I think a draw would have been a fair result, in my opinion. I do think a draw would have been. I thought it would have been a draw or a split decision. And but I'm glad Eubank won. And that has embarrassed the Conor Benn team, hasn't it? Let's be real. Training Chris Eubank Jr. down to 157 in the cancelled fight. Training Eubank down to 160 in this fight when Eubank's a 168 fighter. Putting a rehydration clause on Eubank as well, the weight cut, etc. And Chris Eubank Jr. still wins. How embarrassing is that for Conor Benn and his team? 18-foot win as well, so we didn't have a tear up, and Eubank still wins. And I absolutely love it. It puts Ed on the face of Conor Benn and his team and his promoter as well, pardon the pun, in terms of the Ed joke. And but now, for my honest opinion on this fight, yes, remove the drugs. I thought against Conor Benn. Conor Benn looked good, to be fair. He actually looked good at 160. Looked better than his last 2 fights at 151 and 154, maybe because he was used to that weight as well. It was good to see. Even Conor Benn admitted after the fight, he may have to stay at 160. No, it's not. He may. He has to. He has to stay at 160 now because his team have ruined his career by moving him up 2 weight divisions from 147 to 160. And to be fair, Conor Benn's heavy hands and heavy hooks caused a problem for Eubank, didn't they? They did catch Eubank. Conor Benn, he still had that speed, to be fair, in the fight. He still had that speed during the fight. It wasn't like the speed he had at 147, where he was very explosive. And both of their defences, for me, were poor. I will say that. Both of their defences were poor. Eubank was catching a lot of shots. Benn was catching a lot of shots as well. I think that's to be expected with Conor, though, because the way he comes forward as well. And his stamina, I would say Conor Benn's stamina started to run out during the second half of the fight. That's when Eubank took over in the fight. And you have to be honest, though. Great fight. You have to be honest. That final round, wow. That final round when they were both going at it as well. They were both going at it. Both shattered as well. Both shattered, and they were still throwing. And I don't know how Conor Benn stayed up, because he was on the wolves, Conor Benn, and he was ready to go down as well. And but the picture you see on your screen was absolutely amazing to see. Eubank Jr. and Eubank Sr. Eubank Sr. being at the fight as well. It was a nice surprise, wasn't it? It was a nice surprise. This is the way he arrived and opened the car door. It was like a surprise, ta-da! And then you see, it dots me that though. It did dot me where you see Junior just walk towards Senior as well, and they both start to walk together. Oh my god. What an emotional moment that is. What an emotional moment. And then you see the Benn team watching it on the replay in their dressing room, and Nigel and Conor were like, shit, that's done div him a boots. And it did. And for me, it did give Junior a boost because I was fearing for Junior going into this fight because without his father there, everything was in Conor Benn's favour going into the fight. Even though I still stuck my neck on the line and still said Eubank on points. And that's what he did, Eubank. He still found a way, despite the disadvantages against him. Everything against him. But yeah, the walk-ons, actually both of their walk-ons were just do sponsor were Conor Benn's walk-on to Ready or Not with his father as well. The London Tower Clock with the din. That was cool there, to be fair. That entrance was cool. And then you got Eubank Jr. walking out to Simply the Best Seniors walk on. Then a remix of Dr. Dre as well. And unbelievable atmosphere. Unbelievable atmosphere for the main event. The atmosphere wasn't as good in terms of the undercard because that's to be expected. But the main event, wow, went up to another level of the atmosphere. And what next for both? I think the rematch is going to happen. I do think the rematch will happen. I think Turkey's already booked Tottenham again for September, end of September, for the rematch between the two of them. I do think the rematch now, they're going to have a bit more respect for each other in the rematch in terms of the build-up. I think Eubank Jr. will still wind him up. Yes, we will. He'll still wind Conor Benn up. But good to see afterwards, there was more respect between the two of them now. There was more respect. And that's going to happen. That is going to happen, to be fair. When you're in the pro like that, you don't respect both fighters as well. As most my quotes against Conor Benn in terms of the failed judge tests, I think we need to remove that for a second and just, to be fair, I think Conor it's hard to give Conor Benn credit because he is a judge cheat, but this is the way to listen go up to having that weight on as well and putting in quite a good performance as well. And but if it was up to me, I would personally move Eubank Jr. up to 168. I think that will be that's where his best work will be at 168. See, the problem with Eubank Jr. is he wants a money fight, and the only money fight at 168 is Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo Alvarez is going to fight William Stull, and then he's going to fight Terence Crawford in September, so Eubank will need to wait probably till next year to fight Canelo Alvarez, or maybe December. And that is the fight with Eubank for me. That is the fight because people complain that he doesn't fight for a world title. People say he's a 168 fighter. And it's a money fight with Eubank. It hits every boss with Eubank. Where he says he wants a world title shot. Where he says he wants a money fight. Again, test that box as well. Does he beat Canelo Alvarez? Probably not. But with Senior by his side and with the right trainer, I still don't think Jonathan Barnes would be the right trainer for Eubank against Canelo Alvarez. I would probably say more. But then, Jonathan Barnes trained the Octane, didn't he? So you have that knowledge of Canelo Alvarez for Eubank. I don't think the Canelo Alvarez fight will happen for Eubank. So the only other fight I would want to see for Eubank at 168 is Hamza Shiraz for me. I think Hamza Shiraz needs to move up to 168 as well. Have both of them fight at 168. And stop with talk morning about Eubank not wanting to fight Shiraz. But Eubank has disrespected Shiraz though, saying who. So I don't think he will want to fight Shiraz. So for me, I think it will be the rematch. Personally, I do think it'll be the rematch next, and then that's where the money is. Yes, we will. It's in the rematch, and you had to see. Fathers, you had to see it as well. Conor Benn will want his revenge as well. I found it ironic. Conor Benn still made excuses. I mean, yeah, this is the same Conor Benn who failed 2 drugs tests, who trained Eubank down to 160. Who wanted the 18-foot win, but he still made a stoop, says Conor Benn. Oh, it's saying inactivity. Oh, I wonder why. Why you were inactive. I wonder why. So I do give Conor Benn, yeah, I still give Conor Benn credit still in this fight. But I will still hold that towards Denson. It's not just him though. It's other fighters that have failed towards test as well. I still hold that towards Dent. Yes, we will. And it was a win for boxing. And it was justice, in my opinion, that Eubank won, in my opinion. And it was a lovely sight in seeing Conor Benn crying nice up Benn's arms. Yeah, lovely sight. I'm sorry, I don't hold back. I'm sorry. But what next for both fighters? I think it'll be the rematch next. Even though I'd even like to see Conor Benn against Alan McKenna. We'll speak about Alan McKenna later on in the stream, in this video. Because I think Alan McKenna deserves some props as well. It deserves a name on his resume as well. But yeah, Eubank gets the win over Benn, and it's yet another win for the Eubanks over the Benn name. Up next, then we saw Anthony Yarde beat Indian Arthur by decision in the 20. A lot of people have different opinions on this fight. After this fight, yeah, I can understand it because it was a bit scruffy in my opinion. I thought Yarde did more of the work though for me. I still thought Yarde did more of the work. I think it was the right decision. Yarde won. Even though the Indian Arthur was hitting back in terms of the counters, he was more. The Indian Arthur was mostly on the back foot, yes we will, but hitting back with his counters. I just don't think the Indian Arthur's counter punching was enough for me. I thought Yarde did more when he was on the front foot as well. Even though there were sloppy jobs from Anthony Yarde. Certainly not his best performance. His best performance was still against Beterbiev, where he got beat. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun going on, and yeah, the right person did win. Though, yes, we will. The right fighter did win, and that was Anthony Yarde. And we won't have to see another fight now between the two of them. I thought the first fight and the second fight the first fight especially was probably better than the trilogy. Anthony Yarde obviously did the job in the second fight, didn't they? By KO stoppage. And Anthony Yarde gets the win here. What next for both fighters? Yes, finally made that fight now. Anthony Yarde versus Joseph Boazzi. I think that's the fight the British public want to see now. Is that fight. I wouldn't put him in against Tam Smith. I actually think Tam Smith would fancy his chances against Anthony Yarde. I think Tam Smith anyways. I think Tam Smith deserves a world title shot. I think he's in that world title shot against David Benavidez, which will be for the third and belt. Which before Dimitri Bivol will be fair him because Bivol wants to trilogy with Beterbiev. So Anthony Yarde versus Joseph Boazzi, we've been calling that fight for the last year now. Time to make that fight now, in my opinion. And I think Indian Arthur should fight Craig Richards for me. I don't think that's a bad fight, to be fair. That's not a bad fight to have, especially for Eddie Hearn as well. For his man to fight Indian Arthur as well. Maybe Barassi versus Yard and Fitters versus Arthur will be on the same card, potentially, as well. That would be good to see. Maybe at the Auto Arena card, maybe have Barassi Yard as the main event. Who knows? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that fight. Yeah, right person won for me. Right person won. But to the standout for me, probably the standout of the night was probably Alan McKenna. Alan McKenna put in a masterclass performance to completely outbox Aids and Ian Smith, former world champion Ian Smith as well. I'm not surprised by this result because I did have my concerns in my preview about Ian Smith, how much he had yet, but I wasn't taking the risks again, like I did on Tam Smith, where I put Barassi to beat Tam Smith, and Tam Smith beat Barassi. So I did go for Smith to win the fight. This was his experience. But I tell you what, Al McKenna, furious, wasn't he? It was absolutely furious. Completely outboxed Ian Smith. Pretty much won every round for me. Al McKenna boxed really well on the back foot. His shouts was key. His shouts were brutal, weren't they? His shouts and his combination of the hooks as well were brutal. Just kept Ian Smith back. Ian Smith was hardy punching, let's be real. And I think that's the writing on the wall for Ian Smith now, in my opinion. That it was Hardy punching in that fight. Hardy handed anything. It was a continued stalk on McKenna without really handing anything. And for me, that's when you know the writing's on the wall for Ian Smith. I think Ian Smith needs to retire now, unfortunately for him. I think Aids is now cast up with Ian Smith now. Not just that, he's moving more slowly now, and I think the Eubank beating took a lot out of him as well. And I think Alan McKenna, though, deserves a big fight. Benn. Conor Benn's a big name, another big name on his resume. That's the fight I would make next. Alan McKenna versus Conor Benn, but I think it's done by Eubank Benn rematch. And Alan McKenna's got opportunities now. Let's be real, his stock has risen, and a lot of people are standing up at him thinking, oh, you know what, we'll put him in with him. He's in the middleweight division. A lot of people have said Tyler Denny next for Alan McKenna. Alan McKenna's beaten a former world champion, people, on his resume. I think he deserves a bigger fight than Tyler Denny. Because I think Alan McKenna will be targeting a world title shot. Does he deserve a world title shot? A bit iffy, isn't it? It's a bit iffy. Maybe another fight before a world title shot, potentially for Alan McKenna. But you're looking at middleweight division. Obviously, Johnny Betts in a fight at House of Damage in the unification fight, so you can't fight either of them. You got Eswandi Yara, who's getting on, who's 40 years old. And if I'm on McKenna, you know what? I'm fancying my chances at Eswandi Yara. And then you have to say, though, obviously, if you're comparing the resumes, obviously, Eswandi Yara has had a far better career than Alan McKenna, but I'm targeting Yara, you know. I am targeting Yara if I'm McKenna. Those straight into a world title shot, but then Denzel Benn will have something to say as well, because he was promised a world title shot as well, Denzel Bentley. McKenna versus Bentley, anyone? Why not have them two against each other and just say, you know what, the winner does that world title shot. But I think McKenna and Bentley's teams, they'll be looking at Eswandi Yara now, trying to get a title shot against him. Do I think Eswandi Yara will fight either of them? No, I don't think either of them will get that title shot. So that's why I think maybe McKenna versus Bentley would be a good idea as well. Because I think Eswandi Yara, I think he may need to defend as a mandatory. I don't know. I haven't really had it up. And but yeah, Al McKenna, I think he's the standout performer of the night for me. Just pretty much won every round than Ian Smith. A former world champion Ian Smith as well. And a lot of people still had Ian Smith favourite going into the fight as well, despite his inactivity. Because I don't think a lot of people would have known of Al Matena. Everyone saw Al Matena as like an upcoming prospect and thinking, you know what, no shame on Al Matena if he does use this fight because he's had that experience. But completely furious, completely outbossed Ian Smith, and well-deserved winner, Al Matena. Beautiful bottom performance from Al Matena as well. And yeah, stand out tonight for me, Al Matena. Up next, we saw again another outboxing performance. Vidal Wadi outboxing Shevchat to announce decision to win British Cruiserweight title. Not shocked by this. I wasn't shocked. I did predict this in my preview that Vidal Wadi would outbox Shevchat. I just thought Vidal Wadi was more skillful, has more tools, has more skills than Shevchat. Shevchat's more of a front presser fighter. The thing, I don't think Virgil Hunter is the right trainer for Shevchat because I think he needs a better trainer, Shevchat, for to utilise his skills of that front presser fighter that he is. I think Virgil Hunter is completely an all-one coach for Shevchat, and that showed in the fight. Shevchat didn't really do anything to Vidal Wadi. It was an easy night's worth of Vidal Wadi, easy night's out-bottom worth of Vidal Wadi. Comfortable win. Nice bottom performance from Vidal Wadi, just his stiff movement as well. That's what Vidal Wadi stood at. And Shevchat, you can maybe say Shevchat wasn't at it, but you need to give credits for Vidal Wadi for why Shevchat was not at it. I always thought Vidal Wadi's style was all one for Shevchat, in my opinion, because Vidal Wadi, he always moves, always boxes and moves for Vidal Wadi. And it'd be interesting what is next for both of them, because I think Shevchat should actually fight Brandon Johnson. I think that we should make that fight, in my opinion. Brandon Johnson had a lot to say about Shevchat and Chris Smith in the press conference. Not nice things to say. And I think Eddie Hearn will probably make that fight straight away. Shevchat versus Johnson. And I think it's a fight Shevchat can win. It's also a fight Johnson can win as well. Vidal Wadi, what next for him? Well, Shevchat has been at the hooping level, hasn't he? He's been at the hooping level. Well, now Vidal Wadi has been a hooping level fighter. So I would love to see hooping level opposites in this for Vidal Wadi. But I think Isaac Chamberlain will want that British Cruiserweight title, won't he? And obviously Vidal Wadi versus Isaac Chamberlain has now been cancelled twice now. I think that's probably going to be the fight to make next for Vidal Wadi, Isaac Chamberlain. Or maybe Shevchat versus Champion and Vidal Wadi fights a hooping level opponent. Who knows? And but yeah, a really good performance from Vidal Wadi. Again, another standout performance on the night. Vidal Wadi outboxing Shevchat on the big stage as well, big stadium as well. And a beautiful bottom performance from Vidal Wadi. Outboxing Shevchat to announce decision to win the British Cruiserweight title. And finally, we saw Chris Smith. For me, I think he edged Brandon Johnson out in the announced decision swap. I think Brandon Johnson had joy in the first half of the fight, then Chris Smith came into it in the middle of the fight, and then second half of the fight. The start cards were spot on for me. I would say in the middle half and the second half of the fight, it was all Chris Smith, wasn't it? Johnson had joy early on in the fight. I think Smith started slow, to be fair. And again, I watched both of them take a lot of shots, don't they? Ben Smith, bloody hell, he has a chin, you know. He has a chin. Takes a lot of shots, doesn't he? Ben Smith. I think Canton took more of the shots, to be fair. It was a pretty fight, wasn't it? It was a proper scrap between the two of them as well. Ben Smith was the white winner. It was halfway through the fight and second half of the fight. He took control, Ben Smith. He took control of the fight and he was a more front-footed fighter. Proper scrap. Canton was still landing back as well with the counters as well. And yeah, it lived up to expectation. A great swap between the two of them. What next for both fighters? I think Chris Smith should target the Baducha Wine City winner for the WBC title. That's what Ben Smith will be targeting next, in my opinion. That's what Ben Shalom will look at next for Ben Smith. And for Brandon Johnson, why not have that Jeb Clark fight? It always seems to happen, doesn't it, sometimes, where I see the users on the cards sometimes seem to face each other, don't they, on the next card. So yeah, Jeb Clark versus Brandon Johnson, I think that's the fight to make next for me. I think that'll be a swap as well. That'll be a good swap between the two of them as well. And yeah, a gritty win for Ben Smith. A really hard fight as well. Tough, hard fight for Ben Smith. But Ben Smith loves them fights, doesn't he? He loves them tough, hard, grinding, cruel fights as well. It was a cruel that fight for both fighters as well. So I would see Ben Smith versus Badu Chaka Wine City and Johnson versus Jeb Clark. Because that'll have a bit of spice, that fight as well, in the build up as well. So there will be the fights that will make next, in my opinion. But of course, I think we all know who stole the night, though. It is Chris Eubank Jr. on the main event. But that picture has stole the night for me. Did steal the night. Chris Eubank Jr. and his father, Chris Eubank Sr. being there. The one place as well. Seeing Chris Eubank Sr., Hudden, Nigel and Conor Benn impressing each other as well. And I actually do think we will see Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. Once they have the rematch, they'll probably impress each other as well and shake hands. Because Conor Benn's right. It's all fighting talk, isn't it? Let's be real. It's all fighting talk. It's all part of the build-up as well. And they've competed, so both of them competed so this fight as well, along with the fathers as well, walking out with their respective sons as well. As much as I didn't like the fight at the start, it does expectation, to be fair. A proper thrill and scrap between the two of them. Both of them improves as well. And yeah, it won't be as good as when the fathers fought, but it'll still be in the history books, won't it? Still in the history books as well. So, but yeah, Eubank Jr. steals the night, doesn't he? Typical Eubank fashion, isn't it? Stealing the night. Especially with Eubank Sr. as well, as he beats Conor Benn by narcissism, and they are probably going to get a rematch on. They will get a rematch on as well. So that is my boxing review. If you watch, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments down below. Obviously, this is pre-recorded. And yeah, take care, stay safe, see you later, and see you on the next video.